You guessed it. That question is just frustrating, right? When someone asks you that question, like, "Oh, why are you so quiet?" Our first reaction is just to fucking punch that fucking guy or girl on and tell them, "Bro, why not?" Right? And there's a choice that we make, a choice to react a certain way, even though it's in our head, but we're still reacting. My video for this is not about people who feel like they're good at quiet. Okay, being quiet, me too. I like being quiet. Sometimes I like to be expressive, sometimes I like to be quiet. But if you're quiet by choice, if you're quiet because you fear something, then this video is for you. Because what I realized is like after long talking to people and even myself, right? I used to be this person who was chose to be quiet because I just felt like somebody's gonna judge me, somebody's gonna laugh at me, I'm just gonna embarrass myself. So I never speak, right? And here's the thing you need to realize. When we speak so quiet, or we just quiet, right? We speak like so like this, like caged. What it tries to do is that we're just trying to protect ourselves. Our brain use this. So our brain thinks that if we stay quiet, if we don't say the things we want to say, we are not threatened. People don't have the ability to judge ourselves or judge to us, or they won't do or threaten you for or judge you or laugh at you or describe you of something. So when you do that, when you're being quiet, right, you're surviving. But ask yourself this question now: is that something you really want to do? Is that something you feel like, damn, am I just gonna stay like this? Am I just gonna stay quiet in the meetings, even though I have a fucking good ideas to share to people that can actually change the business? Or if I tell this to something or somebody or try to be vulnerable to them, I can connect even deeper. But it's like if I do, then I fear people judging me, and this cycle causes us to just stay inside. Like, and if you feel like you are like this, then you have to do something about it. Because wireless is like after all those years being in my classroom, even with my friends and almost with everybody, even my family, right? I was so quiet that I never had this ability to connect, and I didn't have the ability to talk to people. I didn't have the ability to learn even more because I was scared to even ask questions to people, right? I was scared to raise up my hand and say something. And just being quiet might have its own things, and you have to realize being quiet is not bad. Sometimes you need that peace and all that stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that if you don't choose to be quiet, right? There's a different intention behind this. Sometimes you choose to be quiet. Sometimes you want to express. Sometimes you want to say something, but there is something stopping you, and that's the thing we need to address here. And that's the thing I'm really going to talk about in this video, right? So what we need to realize is that the thing that's stopping you right now, it's the fear. It's the fear of messing up. It's the fear of people judging you. And the reason why you might be doing that is because you might have some things that has happened in the past that's causing you to act the way you are right now, and that might have caused you to respond a certain way, to protect yourself, to not go through that thing, right? And that caused you to create this identity, meaning the way you see yourself, the things, the thoughts you have, the way you feel during those certain times. Let's say you're trying to talk to people and everything or share something, even in your meetings, when you're like in the Zoom meeting, or even anywhere, talking to girls, talking to your family, right? And you want to say something. You feel quiet. You don't want to express yourself loud. It's because you see yourself that way now. You embody this identity that feel like I need to be quiet. So the first thing is to be aware of the fact that all these things are just trying to protect you and protecting you from not being your best, protecting you from not getting outside yourself shell. Now the second thing you need to realize is that you need to take the decision here, right? Because the more you wait, the more you're like, okay, I know it's trying to protect me, but it's trying to protect me from not growing. But if I do, then I'm just staying stuck in this cycle, right? you take it one, then step back, and just staying. If you take two step like up front and you still taking one step back, it's like your foot is on the gas and on the brake at the same time. You're not doing what you do. That's when like the identity you have is kind of correlated. Some days you feel like you really want to express, but you stutter a lot. Now that causes you to not stay more quiet, right? There's a way to go about expressing yourself. First, it's not about taking more actions. It's not about going outside and all of a sudden be expressive and loud. That's just gonna make your thing right now being quiet even worse, right? You'll not be able to even engage because that small thing can add up real quick. And what we try to do here is not trying to actually take the action, but more towards changing the beliefs you have, changing the way you see yourself. So when you do that, automatically the actions you take, the way you express yourself, everything aligns to that. So hearing all this bullshit, like, oh shit, I need to just go outside and say the things that I want, or I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna be loud as fuck. But you can feel it, right? There's a forcefulness. You're trying to force yourself to do something, right? And you're like, oh, let me just fake it till we make it. That might work for a few days, but then you come back, you feel like you're just fighting against yourself every single time you try and do that, and that also is not a good way to go about it. So the only thing that you need to do here, the only way is not to force yourself, is not to take actions or learn some conversation starters or try to just be expressive that even though you are not, right? What you need to do is break all these limiting beliefs you have towards this identity that you created by all this past conditioning you have had gone. Awareness is really key. When you become aware, you actually become aware as to why am I doing this? Why am I being quiet? Am I not respecting myself as to not say the things that I really think I must say? Or you feel like my voice is not meant to be heard? When you actually think about it, when you ask yourself these tough questions, like shit, damn, wait, I don't respect myself? That's why I'm not saying the things that I want? Sometimes you're putting people up here, so even though you do it unconsciously, of course, you're not doing it because you want to, you're just putting them up here unconsciously, and now they don't have any options to look down upon you. So you feel like, oh shit, I don't know what to say. You feel nervous. That's why you feel like your mind is going back. You don't know what the fuck to say. But when you're with your friends, you can do whatever you want, and that's why you have it. You put people up here without even thinking, and that causes you to forget all that stuff, right? So understanding the fact and asking yourself this asking yourself this tough questions to yourself, like shit, I, this whole time I wasn't respecting myself, right? You have to build this trust to yourself, and yourself and the person you are right now is a whole different thing. Honestly, this sounds too woohoo, but the person you are right now wasn't meant, or you didn't choose, right? You didn't choose because if you did, you could have done anything you wanted. You could express yourself and do all that stuff, but there's something stopping you, and the thing that's stopping you is all those past conditioning, the environment you are surrounded with, or the content you watch, right? Those all those things, all those small things adds up, and it creates this identity. So let me help you out with this, right? So there is this things, right? I don't know if you have heard about this, like, oh, the things you thoughts and creates your action, all that stuff, right? But that's too vague. So when you realize is like the thoughts you have, you cannot control your thoughts. Of course, you can control, but if you just fix that, you won't be able to identify who's thinking that, because who's thinking that is in this fearful state, who feels like what if they say this thing and you're thinking in that manner. So you cannot change your thought by thinking positive things. Oh, I'm just confident, I'm this. You cannot operate from that part. What you need to do is go to that identity level. So there's this thing: identity, beliefs, thoughts. So this is the actual this scale. I don't know if you can call that a scale. So if you think about this, if you start changing your thoughts, it's not going to change, because if you try to change this, you still see yourself as this person, and you change your thinking, you're going to go back to that thinking. That's why New Year resolutions doesn't work, because they change this superficial stuff. They change this action stuff instead of changing who they see themselves as. And who they see themselves as is perfect. It's just that we are fucking with this BS content and past conditioning that we need to get rid of, and then create from that place. Then you can have pure thoughts, better thoughts, more understanding. Here's the thing that I want to really help you out here. That we are never afraid of something. Actually think about it. What are you actually afraid of? You're afraid of a feeling. Think about it. Like, actually think about it. You are afraid of a feeling, the feeling you have. Nothing's bad is gonna happen. If they laugh, nothing's gonna happen. You just feel a certain way. You're just scared to feel that way. Anything in life, something bad's gonna happen. Oh shit, I feel anxious. That's the feeling you fear, not the people, not that thing, but that feeling you have. And here's the thing: that feeling comes and goes. It comes and it goes in few minutes, few hours, but it goes. It's not there, right? It's not permanent. You might think, oh, they're gonna laugh at me, the status and all that stuff. Why do you care? At the end, you're not gonna care. What you really care is how you're gonna feel that way. Back to what you're saying. I know we went too deep here, and I went all the way tangent, but it just comes down to this. It's not about expressing yourself. Oh, hey, I'm this fucking guy, right? It's not gonna work, because you're still fighting yourself as to that guy who feels that he's still quiet and he's trying to become expressive. You cannot have this. You still have this gap, right? So what we need to realize is that, okay, I am this expressive guy. I know I had this moment where I felt quiet, but that doesn't define me. Of course, it takes time. You need to build small wins and all that stuff. But once you understand that the actual thing that's stopping you is how you see yourself, meaning you, my friend, have the power to change that. Because if you have the power to change, then it doesn't matter what people say, because it's just opinions. It's their own biases, their own shit that happened to them projecting on you, their own insecurities on you. So if you take that to the heart, then that's just gonna affect you even more. Right? Make sense? And so if you ever felt like invisible and all that stuff, and you really want to express yourself, start seeing yourself as the person who is meant to be heard, who is meant to say the things they want. Of course, don't be don't be disrespectful to them. Say the things you want to say. Express your opinions. It doesn't matter other people's things, right? That's gonna help you out. Also, like, if you want to get more expressive, if you want to change that identity, meaning become your authentic self, become true authentic self who can express themselves freely. They don't have to worry about people's opinion. They can be at ease, calm. They don't have to worry about what people are gonna think. And if that's something you're struggling with, I have a free community down below, link in the description. You can check it out. You can we have like around 140 people around there, and around 200 people. If you have 200 people, I'm going to start doing paid. So right now it's just for free, completely for free. You can join right now. You can leave anytime that you want, but people who join never likely fucking leave. So if that's something you feel like you want to experience, also I'm giving away one-on-one free coaching calls and weekly calls in there. So, and everything you need in order to actually become your authentic self who can express, and they're outside talking to people, even meetings, right? Sometimes you feel like you are in a Zoom meeting or you're trying to express your things. It's like you can't. It applies to anything. When you become your way, become the person you were meant to, meaning your authentic self, not all these biases, all this content shit, right? That's when you're shine. You don't have to force yourself. It's come naturally. So if you feel like that, you are that person who want to do that, click the link in the description, and I see you there, all right? Take care.